Alright, so welcome back. We are going to get the motor mounts going. So, yeah, not much to really say. Motor mounts, and see where we go from there. It'll be a fun little project, and something that's really necessary. So, let's just cut right to it. Alright, so first things first, we have to get some big plates. So luckily I got some plates here that I managed to make up. And we'll just start off by bolting them to the engine. Yep, they're all in there. So now, let's see if we can get a different angle here. Alright, let's try that. So you can see our plate here, and then down there you can see where the original mount was. So essentially the plan is to take leftovers from the roll cage. I got a couple of bars over there, and pretty much just mount it up. So essentially I'm gonna have to cut a big landing plate. We might, yeah, we can cut a big donut landing plate with a hole in the middle for the bolt. We can zap our bar in, and then when I take out the engine to do the cam and that type of stuff, I'll probably plate in that cross member piece, so it's got a little more strength for the power we're going to be throwing down. So yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Now I guess we should probably measure the size of that donut piece so we know which hole saw to grab. Alright, so I made up my couple donuts here. The hole saw was, the teeth were getting a little dull, so it was like a old guy trying to chew through a tough steak, but we got her through there, and what we're going to do is weld a bolt onto it. So I just put a bolt on one side, nut on the other. That way it's always going to be 100% flush. I also ground off, you can see a little bit up there. You can see I ground off that zinc coating around the edge where I'm going to weld it. That way it welds pretty good. That should do it. They're all nicely burned in there. Things are kind of hot. Alright, so once we got those guys in there, that's looking pretty good. Now I just have to start trimming up a piece of tube. And then you pretty much stuff the tube in, something like that. And work it a little more there. Maybe something like that. There, let's see if we can manage to zap a tack in here. Alright, well, getting conduction through it. So, alright. Now I can finish weld this thing and brace it up and get going. Alright, so there's the motor mount all welded up. Got the reinforcement on there. It is hotter than blazes. So, yeah. It's coming right on through the gloves. Alright, once that cools off, we'll throw that back in there and bolt it onto the engine, and then make sure we got proper transmission alignment before we make the other one. Because once we make that last one, we're stuck with what we got. So with just that one, we can wiggle it around a little bit to make sure that our transmission's pointing exactly where we want it, and then we'll be good. Alright, so that's one good leg install there. So we got that guy in there, and that's clearly not going anywhere. So essentially the next spot that we have to do is make sure that the transmission is perfectly straight with the body, because as long as that's straight, you can be off a little bit as long as you're parallel with the center line of the rear end. It's like if you get too many degrees off wonkiness, you can kind of introduce some weird vibrations and stuff. And with the speeds we want to spin this thing up to, we need to not have those vibrations. So I'm going to spend probably quite a few hours screwing around with this, trying to make sure that we get perfect alignment and make sure that we're kind of sitting in the engine bay perfectly square. And then I'll be able to weld up the other motor mount, and we'll then have that mounted and ready to fly. So yeah, we're definitely making progress here. Alright, so there's mount number 2. Looks pretty good. Now let's see if it fits down the hole here. Alright, well I think think that is mounted up. It looks like she's pretty tight on the oil pan there. Yeah, I'd like to be able to fit a piece of cardboard under it. That'll be good enough. I'll go and cut another piece of plate when I go and reinforce the cross member. And that should get that up to where it needs to be there. All right, making our progress. All right, so that was a decent accomplishment for this time frame. Yeah, I don't know exactly what I was gonna say there, but anyways, I'm gonna have to make sure I slow down on some of the purchases on this thing, because I just had to get wisdom teeth out, so that blew an easy $500. So gotta watch what I spend to stay within affordability. So let's see, next time we'll probably put the transmission cross member in. I'll have to make something up there, brace up the floor of the car itself, and yeah, get that thing in. Then once we got all of that shoved in there, we'll probably have to tear everything out to re-put something back in. I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep it in mock-up mode and then start worrying about exhaust and that type of thing and figure that out. Maybe that's the plan. But anyways, jaw's starting to hurt. Can't really move it very far. So we're gonna call it a day. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys later.